Now, as my three colleagues are getting mic'd up, I'll just start introducing the session, actually. Here we go. We have three speakers. I'll introduce as they walk in, because otherwise you don't know who they are. And we're going to do a little bit like when we did with the panel yesterday with the airlines. Two of the speakers have a presentation, one doesn't have a presentation. So it's a bit of a mix and match, you know. So, gentlemen, we're just waiting for one more to come up. And they're from different parts of the world. Two are from Europe, one's from the other end of the world. And they're going to give you some different perspectives, but some similar perspectives. And I think they're going to start, and they're pretty tall as well. So I don't want to get into too much trouble with them. But gentlemen, can you please come on stage? Please give them a welcome. Please, thank you. Just any way you like. There you go. Yeah. That's perfect.
Why not?
Deepak. Okay.
Thank you.
So we have here, to my left, we have Deepak Nangla, Managing Director, Brightsun Travel. Next to Deepak, we have David Hassan, CIO Helloworld.
Howdy.
And Klee, Managing Director, AERTiCKET. So we're going to start with, I think we're going to start with David. Is that correct?
That is.
Well, let's start with David, who's going to give us a little presentation on what he's up to, what his business is about, what you're doing around NDC. That's the kind of stuff you're going to talk about, David, yeah?
Why not?
Okay. Yeah. So David's going to do that. Then he's going to sit down. And then we'll talk a bit with Deepak, okay? And we'll take questions. So if you'd like to either email questions, it's askWPS2015@gmail.com. But we can also take questions from the floor as well. So, David, here's the clicker.
Excellent.
I'm going to go down on the floor, but I'll still be there, so don't worry.
With the masses.
It's all yours.
All right. So, as Yannick said, I'm from Helloworld. So I'm going to actually explain what Helloworld is, because I'm sure 99% of you have not heard of it. So we're a large travel agency down in the Southwest Pacific. We have 1,700 retail locations. We're a multi-channel. We've got one of the top 5 online channels in Australia. We have a very large consolidation business, and we also have a really large TMC, one of the largest TMCs in Australia and New Zealand, and also a really large wholesale business. So we cover the whole spread of what travel's about. Now, unlike, I guess, for a lot of the airlines, we have to find a reason to look at NDC. We don't have a CEO sitting on the board of AERTA who's kind of had a directive to look at NDC. So we took it from a different approach to say, okay, well, we need to work on, within our industry, within the travel agent side, to address some problems, and would NDC fit in with that? So as part of that discovery process, we went and spent some time with our agents and actually mapped out the customer journey through an agent experience. And in that, we found some things that kind of helped us shape a bit of a strategy. One of the things we found is that agents often have more than 20 screens open. They've got a GDS, a mid-office, they've got Kentucky, they've got Trafalgar, they've got Qantas Holidays, they've got lots of screens open and they're trying to interact with. It's also really hard for an agent to issue a quote. On average, it takes about an hour and a half for a big trip around Europe, maybe not a Bali or a Fiji trip, but a big trip around Europe can take an hour and a half to issue a quote. And that's just do the quote. If they then got to go jump in and actually make that booking across those 20 systems, it's really complex for the agents to do that. What we also found is that changes are really hard. I was talking to an agent over in Perth, and they wanted to add a date. The customer said, love the trip, I want to add an extra day in London. It took her 4.5 hours to go change everything for one date. So we've got some really challenges within the industry around how we can get, I guess, be productive. So we thought about that. How do we solve that problem? So we came up with a solution. I've actually got a video to talk you through what the solution is. Before we play the video, look at the video from an agent's perspective. It's actually aimed at our agent audience, not so much as you guys as airlines, but I did want to show the video because it kind of sets some context around where we're trying to go in the future. So I'll let the guys play the video.
Today, people are going online for travel knowledge and expertise. However, their core need to have a dynamic and engaging experience is not being met. Currently, we use a number of systems to complete a travel booking. These are time-consuming and complicated. But what if we could start again? What if we could create one system for every phase in the booking process? Introducing Nexus. Designed for the experts in everywhere. Everything you need, you'll find on the dashboard. This is where your day begins. Your tasks are easy to view and manage. Action items listed and filtered when you need to find specific bookings. You can also view your colleagues' action items. Offers from partners will be displayed, with priority space given to sponsored content, along with a section for news and important announcements. And searching with Nexus is easy. For new bookings, set preferences like destinations, dates and budgets, and use tags for any extra considerations. Best of all, you won't have to re-enter the information later on. Booking options, information and content for flights, hotels, cruises and extras are all in the one place. You can also see the latest pricing information, flight options and how much commission you'll make. If you want to know more, just click. And adding to a booking is simple. You can now create and send multiple quotes. Commissions will be displayed up front, so you know which options will give you and the traveller a better return. We source all information directly from our suppliers' platforms, so you won't have to manually manage updates or call to confirm details. And if you prefer, you can still search like you would today. Get a better look at your customer's journey. You can send all quotes in parallel in just one click, giving the customer all they need, so they won't need to shop around. And don't worry, any changes you make are easy and seamlessly integrated between all stages of the booking process. Quotes are turned into an entire trip booked in only a few moments. Nexus will allow you to go further with the client as they travel from the moment of truth and beyond. Our mobile app will keep you connected to the traveller after they take off, in case they want to add to, upgrade or change their booking. These changes enable your focus to be on customer service and making more bookings. We'll continue to work with you to make sure we get things right. Our technology and design partners will work with us to ensure our system will boost productivity, provide better travel content, and increase revenue for you and Helloworld. Nexus uses technology to help us become the architects of travel inspiration. Travellers are ready for a new experience. Are you?
Yeah, so this is the tool that we're in the process of rolling out, and in that you probably picked up some themes that may have aligned to some of the NDC type stuff. So there's three main principles of the Nexus program. One is around getting access to new types of content. The second is around revenue maximization. The third one is around agent productivity. So we'll be targeting a 20 to 30% productivity improvement in the agents by putting tool sets like this. Not to log into different systems, one-click changes, lots of reasons why they'll be more productive. And it's that third one that kind of brought us into the NDC discussion. So we were talking with our friends over at Qantas and said, okay, well, we heard you want to do an NDC. We want to focus on agent productivity. How can we make the agents more productive to actually get access to some of the ancillary products out there? So we actually did a survey with the agents, put out 6 ideas: valet parking, seat selection bag, I can't remember the other 4 or 5. And the one that the agents really wanted to get their hands on was chauffeur drive. So in the chauffeur drive model within Qantas, you have to go to qantas.com to book that today. There's no agent way of doing that in the GDS. So we sat down with the Qantas guys and they said, yep, they see value in it. We saw some value in it. And we said, okay, let's do an NDC based on the Nexus architecture that allows us to kind of play with that. So the way we're going to do it is the agents will log into the agents and the customers can log into an interactive itinerary system that we've built. In that, we will go through a process to say, do you qualify for chauffeur drive? So we'll go through what gets quoted in NDC terminology, and it'll come up as an indicator for the first phase, which is chauffeur drive. Yep, to say you qualify for chauffeur drive. We'll go through a process to create an order, all within the same workflow. The agents or the customer doesn't have to leave that workflow, put all the basic information in, and we'll also allow them to do changes and cancel, all using NDC standards to talk into the Qantas environment behind the scenes. So pretty simple from our perspective, allows us to get in and have a play with it, but also really heavily aligned to productivity. I'm not going to implement something which is going to make it slower for the agents, because that's going to defeat the purpose of what we're all about. Because we're not really piloting the technology, we're trying to pilot the bigger picture for us. I won't get into the technology of it, but again, we're putting in place, we've partnered up with IBS, and they're going to provide us that Nexus aggregation engine that will sit there, which allows us to, again, talk to the GDSs for most of our content, but also allows us to plug into NDC to get us access to things that the GDSs don't have today. So it gives us a really reusable framework that we can use with Qantas to add to other options with Qantas, like Select on QE, but also to engage other partners going forward. We're ready to have more conversations because we start to progress into that. We're also looking at considering how we put payments into that logic as well. And we're also not just focusing on air, because I guess there are ancillary opportunities we see well outside air as well. So we're going to be playing with that. Learning so far, obviously, and Raina talked about a lot of these yesterday, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them, but obviously both organisations need to have a challenge to solve, so we were focusing on how do we improve agent productivity, and we think we found a great way of doing that. We took a really collaborative approach. The teams meet once a week, once a fortnight, the project teams to get together to make sure we're working on and understanding how we need to interact with each other to get ready for the testing in a few months' time. And it's a very collaborative approach across both teams. We also recognise it's a learning approach. So by being very collaborative, we can kind of learn together and understand what works and what doesn't work. And all the screen designs, we're actually engaging with Qantas on those so they can actually see what the end product will look like on their side, just to make sure we're not kind of missing the point of what we want to get up to. We are taking it slow. The advantage of Chauffeur Drive is that it's not a million items that are booked a day. It is a fairly slow product, so it allows us to kind of ramp up at the pace that allows us to both do it. We did make the decision that we need to be the aggregator, so the Nexus layer will be an aggregation engine, because for us as a consortium or a buying group, content is king, so it's really important that we have that going forward. And we've also been spending a lot of time educating the agent community. What is NDC, so they can understand why isn't this coming via the GDS? Well, it's because we've got some other reasons to target this way, and the agents are kind of getting to it because they want to be able to compete with what Qantas.com does or what your direct channels have, so they've really been quite enthusiastic and keen to get on board. So that was my few minutes presentation, but I just thought I'd share where our history is and kind of what we're up to.
Thank you. Thanks, David. Can I just do a little quality check, David?
Yes.
Yeah. Raina from Qantas. Is that kind of okay? Does that reflect you guys aligned? Hip to hip. That's good. I think one bit I noted that is that you asked your agents what to focus on, and I guess that was working in collaboration with Qantas, which is to say, hey, this is not about the airline forcing you, this is what we want to do, but it was all about collaboration together as to where could there be best value for both parties.
Agreed.
Thanks, David. I'll come back to you because a few of the things I found interesting, and actually I look forward to, when are you going to deploy? When's it going to be live?
Early Q1 next year.
Early Q1. You agree, Raina? Good. IBS in the room? Yeah, you concur? Ooh, sorry. Sorry, right here. Okay, Deepak. Can you tell us a bit about Brightsun Travel, just to get a bit of perspective of your business, please?
Yeah. First of all, Yannick, thank you for having me. We're sort of the mid-end in the UK market, and a lot of the questions I may be answering may be quite concentric in the UK. But certainly what we do consolidation, we do a little bit of SME, so TMC work, so we know how TMCs work. We also have some exposure on the metasearch side. So all in all, it's about 300,000 passengers a year from the UK out to various different parts of the world.
Thank you. So, Deepak, I said earlier that it's the first time we've got travel agents talking about what they're doing in NDC. So I've got two questions. The first question for you is why? Are you doing that because it's a sexy thing to do, or because British Airways suggested it was a good idea?
Well, there's a lot of answers for that. The travel industry is consistently changing. Us as travel agents, we have to take on products that the airlines deliver to us. If NDC presents an opportunity for us, we'd be foolish not to take it or to be the forefront of that technology. I think the outstanding opinion is how will NDC change distribution within our industry? And we don't want to be left behind. So that's the reason why we've taken the decision to sort of put resources into developing it.
So what are you doing? What does it mean for you? What are you going to be, what do you think it could mean for you and for your clients then if you engage in what NDC can enable?
Well, really from our point of view, I think the airlines have been very slow in bringing out NDC to us. All of you guys around the room, what you want to do is you want to sell your products. We want to sell your products not on price. You spend millions and millions designing your seat, and then you're not able to show it to the customer in the correct format. So that's ideally what proposition our company brings. We would really like to sell the product offering that you have, and this is the reason why NDC hopefully will bring that to us.
So you're saying it's the airline's fault, yeah, that they're not pushing, they're not pushing, they're not being proactive enough?
We've really been told since sort of about, we've known it's been around for a couple of years, yeah. But none of the airlines are coming to us and saying, please help us push it. We think it can add value. We think it will increase our sales. We think we can improve yield if we display our products correctly and the whole range of products. So I think that should be more forthcoming.
So you're saying that the airlines do not come to you and say there's an opportunity, there's value here?
I think they are, I won't say happy in the space they're in, but I think change is always difficult for everyone, and no one really knows how much value NDC will bring. So that's probably maybe one of the reasons.
Right. Dilly, do you want a quick reaction to that? Can we have the mic just real quick? Dilly from British Airways. A very quick reaction.
So it's none of the airlines except British Airways.
Right. Thanks, Dilly. Let's move on.
I correct myself.
I think what it does raise is one of the things we have heard from travel agents a lot is, hey, we hear a lot about NDC in the ecosystem, but no airlines are coming and talking to us about what does it mean for them. And it comes down to the best way to demonstrate what NDC can bring is for airlines to start to do stuff. But Deepak, what are you hearing today? I mean, from when you talk to the IT providers in the marketplace, what do you hear? What do they say? Is it, yeah, we're going to do it, we're not going to do it, the airlines aren't ready?
Well, realistically, I think that the real IT providers who have a huge distribution are the GDSs. And the GDSs really want their value proposition within that framework. So I think that's the discussion between the airlines and the GDSs. The GDSs have a great network of distribution. I think they should be included in the discussion. If the airlines went out and think that they can advertise, and take over all the marketing, they will be spending a large amount of money. I think what needs to happen is they need to see the value chain of everyone, be it the travel agent, be it the TMC, be it the tour operator, be it the GDS, as a cost, but as a reasonable cost because they are adding value in selling their product. So, at the end of the day, the industry has to work together in order to make sure NDC is going to work because it does offer value to the customer.
Thanks, Deepak. I'd like to pause there now, and maybe we can ask Rainer, would you like to come and share the AERTiCKET view of the world and an NDC perspective?
Yeah, I try. So just push this.
Press the green button.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There we go. Also thanks for inviting me here. Okay, we are based in Germany, head office there, largest independent air ticket wholesaler in Germany. And we try to deliver a full service for all our customers and with the main target at every moment to be a kind of full content provider. We issue, you don't see it here, about 6 million tickets per year. We handle about 60 million airfares in different systems. in about 9 countries, and we sell air tickets for about $2 billion every year. And we have about 430 employees. We sell some hotels too, but I think it's not here. Our main services are we doing fare handling, tariff distribution in a company for bigger OTAs, for airlines, for consolidators. We do the consolidation part in AERTiCKET, and we do some technology delivery to our customers in another company. We are present in some countries. We are growing and expanding more and more. And we issue tickets ourselves in a few countries, and we have dedicated IATA numbers from partners in other countries. So basically, in our global ticketing center in Berlin, 7-day, 24-hour, we can issue at the same moment on IATA numbers from 25 countries to do the fulfillment for our global customers. So that's, yeah, where we are. The right part is Germany, if you don't know it.
Thanks for that, Rainer.
So
it wasn't obvious. Thank you.
Okay, so basically, I want to come back a little bit to what the colleague from Lufthansa said today. Actually, 40% of our business is coming from online travel agency customers, about 10% from tour operators. So it's indirect, booked via tour operators, mainly booked via the people looking at the hotels where they spend 2 weeks rather than looking on the plane where they spend 2, 3, or 10 hours. We have about 10% of our customers, what we called ethnic, or I think the political correct word is now visiting friends and relatives. They care more about the baggage, what they can take with them. That's their biggest concern. And the rest of 40%, these are normal, traditional brick-and-mortar travel agencies. And yeah, and in this area, we come more and more with these, I have to admit, it's not so fancy like my colleague just showed from Australia. We try to get them all from the native screen, GDS screen, to our tools, which is an extranet, providing all the necessary information, which is more and more, which is in booking engine, and Mein GDS is German for My GDS, so you can switch between booking engine and the GDS, so you can book a very faster flight to Bangkok, maybe for the Christmas holidays, and add in your own GDS, you add a side trip to Myanmar or whatever you want. So this might not always be you might not always be able to book everything in a booking engine like this, the world of today. We have an aviation database where we entered information about 200 airlines. You can access them with one click. You can have your preferred airlines on top and all these things. We try to collect all the information from the airline websites, because nowadays, you know all these things yourself. You have these fare families, you have not fare families, you have something that you have to pay additional for your bag or your second bag, whatever, but this depends from your frequent flyer card and all these things. So it's a huge area of information. If you want to try, I think in Germany we have 174 airlines in the BSP, and some low-cost carriers not. If you want to really fulfill your customers' needs, it's not easy. It's got very hard the last 10 years, I would say. It is not true that you cannot see how you fly. We partnered up 10 years ago with a company that is getting all the information, how you fly in first class, in business class, in premium economy. You can click on it, you see it. If you really have a real bed or laying down horizontal or not, you can have with one click, you access what the airline thinks about it and wants you to tell about their product. So this is part of our extranet. You can see it also there. Okay, so we are coming from a world where and I think it was quite easy till 10 years ago. We were relying on GDSs, it worked. But now we say we have to provide our customers, which are all B2B customers, with tools where they have 100% full content. If it's LCC, we have 100 airlines coming via aggregators, other tools. We have in Germany a lot of charter flights you have to integrate that are not in the GDS. Our target is, of course, to give the highest possible transparency for the consumers. whether they are price-driven or comparing features, facilities, whatever options they like for their flight. And yes, of course, there's it's a bigger concern. Since many years, they want to compete with the airline websites, show the same possibilities. And yes, I agree, British Airways is the only one that gives us full access to all you have on your website. So, and we do more and more and invest more and more that also in the B2B world, our travel agencies can have a lot of possibilities to inspire the customer. Most of them, they can do it because they know their customers. Okay, our challenges right now, the GDS, since many years, they are not fulfilling the needs for 100% full content, including all the auxiliaries that are available today. It's a big difficulty to display the fare families and make them comparable, inclusive all options.
Rainer, can I just interrupt you? A question is, when you say, because what I hear today, sometimes I hear that, hey, there's a quick way of doing optional services or fare families in today's, business processes, and that's not good enough. Are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I live in Berlin. Yeah, Berlin is the one hub from EasyJet. Okay, that's very easy. You have a fare, and you know what you pay additional. Yeah, I like it very much. I always did 1C and pay 15 euro. That's it. Yeah, and that's it. But if you go and look on all the other airlines, yeah, and try to grab the information from the GDS, okay, you get a table, and sometimes the table is correct. Sometimes the table shows you a currywurst from Air Berlin to Munich to Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Whatever, there is no currywurst to Dubai or Abu Dhabi. So there is a lot of things that are done in a way, but they are not done perfect. They are not done in a way that you can really grab it, that you can make it comparable. And that is quite difficult to do. No? I think the OTAs are fighting with these challenges. We are fighting with these challenges to put this in our systems. And yeah, this is one of the hope for NDC, that this becomes much easier.
Okay. So I think, just to be fair, it's probably not the GDS as such, it's the current business process.
Yeah, it's both.
That's making it difficult.
Yeah, okay. The GDS, you say, by numbers, we can say in our GDS, I would say 70%, if we look on what we sell today, about 70% of the auxiliaries that are possible with these flights, we could theoretically book, yeah, if everybody would know this better, if we can make it better doable. But our attachment rate is, to be honest, is less than 2%.
Okay.
But when we ask our customers, they say, okay, the real attachment rate is maybe around 20% because they book them easier on the airline website. But this is means easier than in our tool. Easier means not what they really want in an easy process, which is not time-consuming. Of course, it's time-consuming to go to different airline websites and do all these things.
So it comes a bit to what Otto was presenting yesterday, the travel agent study, where they're saying travel agents are frustrated because they have to go to airline websites. Yeah. Okay, sorry to have interrupted you, Rainer.
No, that's... Okay, so, and the last thing I already mentioned, if you have a status card, the whole picture changes in the fare families and so on. The process costs are high. In our opinion, the EMD is not a nice tool to handle these auxiliaries. Okay, our options. So we said we have to do something. We have heard about NDC. We have heard about the idea behind it, and we said, okay, what shall we do? Develop our own technology, control this, make it much easier to integrate it. This would require, we are a small company, a lot of technical skills on our side. We have to focus on it. It would maybe last too long. Okay, the logical option would be to rely on our GDS partner. I'm sure they are here in the room, but I'm careful. I'm sure they have the technical skills to do it. They should be able to do it. They should be able to integrate it in some existing tools that we have. But from the experience of the last years, I would say that from time to market, it's very slow. We don't know really about the costs, what will come up, what's behind it. Or the option partner with a new entrant, with one of the companies that is focusing on this, that has the technical skills, and that is maybe faster to do this. So we decided to partner up. Okay, I'm in Berlin, so it's a Berlin-based startup. There are a lot of startups in Berlin called Flying, and it is a startup focused on B2C. So their idea is that you, I don't know if you can see this, that you start your search not like today's search by what is the price, what is the duration of the travel. You start your search with, I have a bag, I want a seat there, I want to sit there, I want to lounge access and priority boarding. So they try to show how you can match this with the different airlines offering this route. So it's more the idea of a kind of marketplace like Amazon for products and marketplace for flight products. It would be an own proprietary distribution technology. It is an aggregation gateway to source all the air content that you as an airline delivers. And I think the NDC idea is to send the request to the airline system and get the right response for exactly the right query that you send there. So, oh, that looks better there. Okay, so yeah, on the right side would be us. In the B2B part, Flying would do the B2C part. And yes, of course, it's in every NDC presentation that I've seen, there was an aggregator somewhere, that there was an idea the aggregator can be a consolidator or can be a new startup like this that do it for their B2C customers. So we hope that we have the better technical expertise. We know the guys, we meet the guys, and we are faster, and we are already in talks with, I think, about 10 or 12 airlines. So it's on the way, at least that's my feeling. And I hope we are fast enough, and our USP always was in the past, technology-wise, we should be the first in our markets. Economy of scale is better, cost saving, that is what we think is behind this idea. I just wanted to add some questions because I have some audience here. So for us, fighting with the biggest challenge right now is actually to fight with the fare families. Yeah? I mean, the GDS offers you that you have your own fare families, so we create our own fare families, put it above the airline fare families, try to find out what our customers need. This is, in a way, okay. It makes it displayable, it makes it a little bit comparable, but not 100%. So often we ask ourselves, why don't you do it just like the successful airlines like EasyJet or Ryanair? They just have their price and they just add what the customer wants, and nobody says. And I always travel without any baggage, so I only need the seat. So I feel cheated personally myself with every fare family because always there are 3 or 4 things included that I don't really need. So. And I liked really much, and the other idea, okay, the unbundling thing, I really much like. I'm often in the US, the Southwest Airlines claim where they say transparency. No, it's not. It should be. I think it's transparency. Sorry. They really say we want to get a little bit back. Want to stay away from all these auxiliaries, and the customers treat our customers honestly and fairly, and so they really know what they get. And I think this is interesting that on the other side, the legacy carriers start to do all these things, and some of the low-cost carriers move back. Yeah? Approach, like in Berlin, every Ryanair and EasyJet is approaching very much our corporate customers, do breakfast with them, explain them how nice it is, and all these things. So, and also, if you look really on flights in Europe, most of our flights are in Europe. It's 1 or 2 or 3 hours. I think most of our customers tell us it's a commodity. We don't want to see how we fly in a 1 hour or 2 hours. We just don't care. And we see in Germany the biggest move, the biggest development the last years that happened this year is the move from OTA or searches to meta searches. And obviously, what is the reason behind it? It's only the price. So they are all price driven. So, and yes, one big concern, it was at the beginning of NDC, it is still, we are still not knowing what is really going on in the background on the airline websites. I think we just had this dynamic pricing discussion in the previous session. I did not understand everything, but as far as we see, as we hear dynamic pricing, what other retailers mean about it, like you get a higher price on Mondays. You search on Sunday, it's always cheap. Then you talk with your wife, whatever, and you book on Monday, it's more expensive, or on Wednesday afternoon. Or if you have an Apple device, of course, it's more expensive and all these things. We see these things very critical. So this is, okay.
Thank you very much,
that's
Rainer. Some key messages there. These are your opinions on some, what you think may be some commercial practices. Thank you very, very much for that. Yeah, give him a round of applause. Yeah, we got a question at the back. Go on, Paul. Say who you are.
Hello.
Can we have the sound, please?
Hello. Hi, my name is Paul Tilstone from Festive Road. I'm running the session at 2 o'clock on the indirect channel, so I found this particularly interesting. 2 small comments and then a question. The first comment is that, Yannick, this microphone is absolutely redonkulous. You need to find a different one. The second comment is, David in particular, thank you, because what you just presented there I found inspiring. It is a light, a beacon within some of the fog that is going around here, and you clearly recognise that as a TMC or a travel agency you need to invest in technology in order to empower your res agents and provide a better service to your customers, so I congratulate you on that. My question is that it's obvious that what that does is, the way I look at this is that it kind of lifts their head off the desk so they can really talk to their customers and add value. On a macro level, do you think as a travel management company, QBT, you have the opportunity to segment traveller types within your corporates and then kind of add value to the corporate by going to the airline and saying, we think there's a fair family opportunity here or there, and create proprietary fair families that then provide value to the corporate, to the airline and to you?
Yeah, we're finding that a conversation we'll have with a corporate is around that. They may want to segregate their employee pool and have us interact with their different hierarchy in different ways, and that's where we're finding a different conversation around, well, what needs to be bundled up into that particular product? Do we have we do the whole of government for Australia, so you can imagine a soldier versus a politician has a very different travel need, and I think that's the sort of conversations we're having with some of the guys in that. We're saying, well, what's the segment of the traveller, and how do we as the TMC want to interact with them, and then working really closely with our travel partners, be it hotel, car or air behind the scenes, to make sure we deliver on that. Yep, definitely.
And let's see if we have another question. Deepak, I saw that when you saw Rainer's pictures, the fly-in site that he was showing, I saw you were looking at the screen. Is that the kind of stuff you'd like to see when you were talking earlier? Is that what you would think helps sell better?
Well, absolutely. I think that the way Rainer's sort of giving power and access to his consultants, that's something I think we should all aspire to do. The more knowledge that we give our sales agents, the more knowledge they can give to the travellers, and hopefully that product will actually be sold. So yes, it was good to see.
Okay, so it's doable. Actually, Rainer, the fly-in, it's a new startup. I know are they in the room here? Fly-in? No? Yes? Well, Stefan, so if you want to talk to fly-in, go to the ITA booth for lunch. Bit of publicity there for a new entrant in the marketplace. Do we have a question? Yes.
Peter Färber from Malaysian Airlines. David, how do you organize the migration phase? You are investing to aggregator software, as I see it, but not all airlines will be behaving according to the aggregator software, so most of the airlines will be GDS based. How do you handle this situation?
Yeah, so with Nexus, we'll connect into all the GDSs. We've agreed we need to support all 3 because our membership pool uses all 3 GDSs. So, and then we'll use NDC to complement that where we can, and kind of like what we've done in the old days with the LCCs, bringing that content in via the Navitaire API. NDC kind of allows us to consolidate that into a single framework. But it will certainly plug into the GDS content as well, because we know it won't be cut over overnight. It will take time.
So your agents will have NDC content, GDS content on the same screen?
Yep.
So that's doable?
Yep.
You sure it's possible? Mm-hmm. It is possible?
We believe so.
Okay, all right. No, just asking. Okay.
We feel very confident on it.
Good. Rainer, when are you going to be live with fly-in? When is it going to be operational?
I think we are in a phase of discussion with the airlines that are themselves pilots, and I think the first mock-ups are there for the B2C part. We have to work on our part, on the B2B part. This we have to do on our own, like we do in the extranet. And I think this will not be ready before end of last year, I expect. So
End of next year.
End of next year. Yeah. So the aggregation gateway they are working on currently to connect to the APIs of the different airlines, and I think this will last a while, and then it comes the second phase, and we put it there.
So both of you, as travel agents, you believe that you want to do the aggregation in-house yourselves, yeah? That's what you're both saying. In-house or with a partner, but in full control. Deepak, what's your view on that? Do you think that as you get engaged in this part of the world, in this type of business, will you want to aggregate airlines yourself, or will you be looking for partners out there?
No, inevitably. A very similar model. We want to aggregate ourselves as well. We want to include GDSs in that discussion. We want to include direct API, NDC in that discussion. If the GDS can deliver NDC content through their APIs, we would like to integrate that. It's all about getting correct value to the customer, be they B2B, be they online, be they the salespeople sitting on the desk delivering that information to the customer. So wherever we're getting the information, wherever we get the content from.
But what if someone came to you and said, hey, Deepak, don't worry, I can provide you with that aggregation, and I can provide you with that one-stop shop desktop. Would that not satisfy your needs as well? Could that be an alternative?
No, absolutely. And we will look at all options. You know, everything has a cost, and we will evaluate that cost and see if it's feasible for us to go down that avenue.
Do we have any more questions? We have a question? No. Yeah. No, we don't have a question. No? No. Okay. Well, I'll just like a last question for... oh, we do have a question here. And then we'll wrap up.
Good Lord. Yeah, redonkulous microphone. Yeah, you mentioned
right,
costs.
We got it.
Sorry, so my name is Jan Guima. I'm working with Amadeus, and actually I'd like to pop one question. You were mentioning costs, assessing the cost, and obviously trying to see what solution would be the most effective. What about revenues? And I'm not thinking revenue from the customer, I'm thinking commissions.
I think...
just play that back. So, are you not cost revenues? Are you asking these people whether incentive payments are something that are important for them to sell ancillaries?
Precisely.
Okay.
And not only ancillaries. If we think getting the content from GDS, from NDC, etc., the revenue associated with this content may differ from the source. Put it simply, you would have an incentive from the GDS, you would not from the NDC. How does it matter?
Okay, I think, well, we're not going to get into any detail on that. Sorry?
I can answer. It's a very difficult question, unsolved till today. I would say we have about 2 or 3 approaches of airlines and one valid agreement about sharing about revenue on ancillaries, and this is, I think, for our side, it's all open. The question is open. How do we charge everything today per ticket? If there's no ticket anymore, how do we do it in the future? There are a lot of questions remaining, and I would say it's still open. No? I don't know any answer.
That's it. That's a good answer. There's no answer. No answer for this forum. It's well tried. Each travel agent, I mean, this is, I think if you take the report that Otto presented yesterday, if you consider this panel, it's all about travel agents and airlines talking together about what's the best commercial model to make it happen. And of course, if they want to involve their distribution partners in that, they can do so. Just last question for each of the 3 of you. What's the biggest blocker, do you believe, to NDC adoption? Is it technical, is it contractual, is it commercial? What do you think it is? I don't want too much detail on it, just a very high-level view.
You can start.
Or communication.
I really would like to know what NDC holds. I want to know how long it's going to be around. I want to know what value there is for me to invest in NDC. And talking about ticketless in the previous panel that was up here, is it something that's going to be obsolete in about 2 or 3 years? At the same time, I'm very excited about what value it will bring. The UK market, similar to the German market, on the leisure side has gone very much towards meta search. The cheapest carrier is coming on top, and always you're competing with price. we want to try and differentiate with that, and NDC will bring that differentiation through the value-added content that hopefully the airlines will pass down to us and we can display to our customers.
So your message out there to airlines is come and talk to me, tell me what you're going to do with NDC so I can better understand and hopefully better embrace it. So I know some airlines here are going to probably come and talk to you, Deepak. Thank you for that. David?
Yeah, similar to Deepak, it's understanding for the integration effort, and it's not a lot of work to do, but it's still effort to do it.
It's not a lot of work.
No.
Integrate now? It's not, it's easy?
Yeah? No, we're 6-week sprints.
They're cool in Australia, you know. It's cool, no problem. Very good. Yeah. Really? 6 months? Okay.
That's the current plan. So, yep.
Good on you. Okay.
So, yeah, it's understand for that effort, what do we get in return? And there is a commercial discussion to it, and luckily I'm being on the geeky side, I keep out of those from our commercial team, but there is a commercial discussion that needs to be had with the airline that does occur. So it's a bit of both, but it's the value that I think that's where I'm spending a bit of time internally engaging with our retail and marketing teams, is to say, okay, we can have this, we've got a great scenario around the Qantas one, but as we begin other conversations, well, is that aligned to the revenue, the content, and the agent productivity? Are they going to tick those boxes? Because we're not here to play, we've actually got to have a benefit that's got to come out of it that's real. So, and that's something that I get challenged on by my CEO, which is good.
Yeah. It's quite understand. Thanks, David. And just to add to that, what we're hearing more and more from an NDC program point of view is that people don't want to do pilots. They just want to implement stuff because they need a return. So even if you start small, you can start to see what the return could be. Thanks, David. Rainer.
Okay, for us, speaking as a travel agency or wholesaler, the biggest blocker was the way the participation was offered by the IATA, because it was just not doable. Yeah, my ex-colleague was part of some workshops, and there's one representative of the German travel industry organization, Alex, who was part there. They both told me it is so time-consuming, so complex, so difficult. It is impossible for normal working people that don't have a huge organization behind them to participate in a way. Yeah? It is so. I'm really glad that I found somebody who is now doing all this stuff. But for a normal organization, you have to have dedicated people. You have to pay them. You have to do all these things, not knowing what's the outcome out of it after some years. That's really hard, but probably that's the way IATA works, because it's complex with so many airlines.
No, wait. No, you cannot.
Sorry.
You cannot end the panel with those closing remarks. Rainer, careful, we're going to Barbados in 2 years, so if you want to come to Barbados, you've got to be here. Would you like to finish, Rainer?
No, it's just about the feeling of participation. Is it also a little bit about the concerns and the needs of the travel agency, of the distribution? Yeah,
no, thank you very much. I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, all these participating in these working groups, it's time consuming. That's why we are really, really very, very thankful to the 80 plus people from GDSs, other IT providers and airlines, and a small number of travel agents who've been there working on this standard for the last 2.5 years. It's thanks to people like that these guys can implement stuff, and each person does their bit. But the beauty, and I insist on the fact that it takes a long time, because what you get is the best of all worlds. That's what an IATA industry standard gives you. But I understand, Rainer, completely that for organizations like yourselves, many organizations, you can't, it's too time consuming. So count on the others. They have the advantage of being able to influence it a little bit more. But at the end of the day, now we are where we are, which is the standards there. We had 19 IT providers present solutions in the last 6 months, including the 3 GDSs and a lot of our IT providers. Things are starting to happen. So it's going to be presented to you on a shelf, Rainer, and that's what you're doing now, you're embracing it. So can we give these gentlemen a very, very big round of applause? Thank you very much.